So what we're going to be going over in this lecture is something that I think is the last step in really having a handle on Shopify theme development, and it's called it's a more it's called blocks, but it's a more advanced version of blocks than what we learned in the previous lectures. So as I mentioned earlier, the home page is the only template where you can dynamically add sections, right? So what if I told you now that we can actually spoof this for the other pages as well? And the way we're going to be doing this is with blocks. So kind of to conceptualize this is, instead of having this whole thing as a template, we will have this whole thing as a section, and then each one of these will be blocks. And it's a little bit difficult to create. So we're gonna take it slower. We're gonna walk through it. But ultimately, it's gonna give your client the ability to really customize that page without you having to go into the code again, right? So you go into the code once, you create all of the sections or all of the blocks that you think he's gonna need, and then you don't have to do any more coding. And this is where snippets come in handy, right? So before we were working a lot with sections, and we didn't really look into snippets. But what basically happens is that we can actually use snippets as blocks. And if this is kind of all confusing right now, don't worry, because we're going to be diving into the code, and we're going to showing you exactly how this is done. And this is one of the coolest topics to cover in Shopify, and it's definitely one of the most difficult ones, I think, to grasp. So let's create a new page. Let's start with that. Let's go into templates, and we'll create a page, and we'll call this page multiple. Oh no, we can't do that. We'll call it multiple. And click create, and it creates this page for us. So let's go into our pages and actually create a page for it. So that was just us creating a template. We got to actually create a page for it now. And we'll call it multiple pages. And we can use our multiple template for that, right? So every time you create a template, it's going to appear here. We don't need to write any description or anything for it, because we're going to be creating a dynamic page. And boom, we're done with that. And let's navigate to it. So let's refresh that. And as I said earlier, remember, if you can't, if there's no way to navigate to the page, the way you would do that is through this little drop down here, and we have multiple pages. And right now we are displaying the title of the page because that's what the code says. We're displaying the title and the content, but we didn't have a content or AKA description, so it doesn't matter. So let's clear all that. Wait, actually, let's leave. Let's leave this page width, just so the formatting is better. And we'll create a section, and we'll call this section, what should we call it? We'll call it content blocks. Okay. So what this content block is going to have is it's going to have a bunch of snippets, and I hope there's snippets in this section that we're going to be able to use. Product card grid. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That got me a little bit worried there that this theme was too basic to have a bunch of snippets in it. So once we've put it there, let's see. Let's create a section now. that is called content blocks.liquid. All right, exactly what we called it here. Let me make sure I didn't misspell anything. Content blocks, yeah. And remember, you don't need to put liquid. And what's gonna go in here is something of a for loop, right? So we're going to be tying in a lot of concepts here. So let's start with basically creating a for loop here. And we'll say for block in section.blocks. Sorry, that's my dog sleeping, and she's kind of barking in her sleep. Excuse for that. And we're going to close the for loop. And so this is basically going to loop through the amount of blocks that we're going to have. And this is all going to make sense in a little bit, right? So let's see which snippets we want to put in here. So we have, oh, no, we don't want that one. Let's see. We can put the card grid. Yeah, we can put the card grid in here. Let's see, no blocks, nope. This theme is going to make it a little bit more difficult for us to do than I initially thought, because just the way that it's, just the way that these free themes are built. Their snippets are, very basic, but that's fine. It's just going to be a little bit more work for us. So just to recap, right now we have created a template called page multiple, and we put in the content block section in there. So let's go into the content block section in here. And so we have the for loop set up already for us. And I think it might be a good idea for us to actually reuse this section that we already built in the previous lecture, and basically utilize this section to make it into a block for another page. So, okay, so let's go. So the next thing that we're gonna need is if statement. So we're gonna be checking if the block, so if and dot type. So this is something we're gonna set up in a second, but I just want to kind of make this with this. I just want to make this for loop with the if statements right now, so that we have something set up off of something that we can work to make the schema. And then we'll create this as image. If block.type equals image, then we will include a snippet. And we'll call this snippet custom image. Okay. And then so else, or else if, and remember, else if is like, you don't write the E in Shopify Liquid. Let's space this out a little bit so it's easier to look at. So else if block.type equals, and then we'll give this text. Okay, so just image and text. We'll just make it very simple. And then we'll include in here, include custom text. And then we gotta end the if, right? So this is our basic setup right now. We have a for loop. It checks if the block type equals image. It does that. If the block type is text, it includes this one. So the reason we want to do this, is because we want to be able to have multiple blocks of these. So we don't want to just have one custom image and one custom text. What if what if you want to have like 10 custom images, right? So using the for loop, we're able to generate more than one of these. Okay, so now we got that set up. Let's create a schema. And schema. And the way that the schema is going to be structured is we're going to put basically this whole section without the preset. This whole section, we're going to put that. Ooh, actually, okay. Actually, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, even more difficult than I thought, because within Shopify, you can't have blocks within blocks. So if you're including, so basically, if you have a snippet inside of a section like we're going to have right now, you can't, because they're going to be blocks, you can't nest blocks. So what we're going to have to do is restructure this schema a little bit so it makes more sense for us. Okay, that's fine. That's fine also. More difficulty, but that's totally cool. That's just part of programming, right? And we'll call this content blocks. And after that, we want to say that basically, here come the blocks. And we open the array for them. And now we want the first one. So the first one will be, we got to give it a, so right inside of array, it's always objects. And here we want to put the name for the block, and then we're going to call this custom image. And then the type, right? So this is what we're going to be basing off of which snippet it's going to include. And the type that we want here is going to be custom image. And now this is the settings. So this is the main kind of stuff of the block, right? All right, let's see. So now that we have that, we can kind of give it what do we want the section to include. And what we want the section to include is something that we decide. All right, and then we want to give it, let's give it a, let's choose something else. Let's do like a type, and we can do actually a color. We can pick a color. We can have include a color picker. And ID will be color. Oops, everything has to be in quotes. And label will say choose color. Okay, so that's one. The next one, let's choose another interesting one. We've already done image. We've already done a bunch of other stuff. Let's do product. Oh. Type product. Apologies, my dog is barking again. And then we'll name it product. I don't know if we can name it product actually. Let's just do product ID just in case. Because I think product might be a reserved word. Actually, no, I don't think so. And then the label will be choose a product. Okay, that's it for this block. Oh, and then let's choose an image, right? Since we called it image, we might as well. Nope. All right, choose an image. All right, so we have the first block set up. Pretty good. It's going pretty well, I would say. So let's copy this and include this other one, and then custom text, right? So we named it custom text over here. And then for this one, we will have a title. Oh, there's got to be text. Choose a title. And let's see what else. Product. What other interesting one can we have? Let's do. Oh wait, this is insert. This is image picker, not just image. Screw it. We'll just do a regular one, just because it's gonna take a while as it is. I don't want to make this lecture too long. We'll remove this product, and then we'll have a subtitle. What am I doing? Subtitle will be rich text. Choose a choose a subtitle. All right. That's pretty good. Let's try to save it. Whew. All right. That worked. Now, the next part is we need to create these snippets, right? Because we said that there are these snippets, but they don't exist yet. So the first one is custom image. Again, we don't need to type liquid here. Custom image, perfect. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Custom image, and the next one, we named it custom text. We'll just copy this. Perfect. So we have these sections. So let's go into our liquid basic. We'll copy just the format. So what's actually pretty cool about doing this is that we're going to be using the schema from here in our snippet. So we don't need to actually include any schema in our snippets, because we're going to be basically pulling it from our section. So for the custom image, so we have the image for block and section dot blocks. Okay, so this isn't going to work now. Let's remove this. So we have for the custom image, let's see. So for the custom image, we have a color, we have a product, and then we have the image. So here, let's do block.product.title. Okay. And then what we can actually also do is include a style here. So it's going to be a dynamic style. And we'll give this whole section a background color. And then, yeah, let's do that. Page width. So this might actually kind of not work properly right now. Actually, instead of this, let's do an inline style. Background color, and we'll give this background color a let's see, so it's going to be block.settings.color. Let's see if that works. Oh, actually we gotta include these block.settings.color. I think that's gonna work. Let's see. Okay, so let's save that. Now let's copy this again and we'll put this into the custom text. So for the custom text, we just have the title and we have the subtitle. So we'll do block dot. Oh wait, no, I think I made a mistake over here. It's not block dot settings dot block dot. Let me quickly see. Let me get a little cheat sheet here. A little cheat sheet going. Kind of having a little bit of brain fart. Yeah. So it's block dot settings dot product dot title. I think that's how it should work. And then we can remove this. And then here we're gonna do block.settings.color. Okay, yep. And then block.settings.title. Okay, yeah. I think this is perfect. And then we don't have an image here, so we can remove this image. And inside of here, we don't need p tags since it's a rich text. A rich text always puts in p tags by default. We called it subtitle. So block.settings.subtitle. That's all we're gonna have here. And we don't need the color because we didn't do that. All right, moment of truth. Let's see. So just a little recap. We created a for loop that's looping through all of the blocks that we add, and then it's checking what type it is. So this type is, oh, we said image here. Found one mistake. Image and text. So we're looping through it to see which block type it is. And then if it's type image, we basically include custom image. And then if it's a text, we include a custom text. So what's cool about snippets is that we can reuse them as many times as we want. Like, because sections, if you want to create additional sections for a particular page, you have to actually copy paste all of the code and click on create new section and create another section, right? So, but with snippets, we can reuse them as many times as we want. So let's see if this works. All right, so let's go into the code or into the customizer. We'll go into our multiple page once everything loads. All right, so this appeared. That's a good sign. We'll click on that. And as you can see, we can add content. And this looks very similar to what we have on the home page. When I click add content, it gives me an option to add custom image and custom text, which is what we wanted. Custom image. And all right, this is pretty cool. All right, so let's do it. If we create this product. All right, nothing appears, that's fine. This guy appears, and then if we change the color, we can change the color. All right, we got a bit of success here. Not full success, because the title doesn't appear for some reason. I'm trying to understand why. Let's refresh it. Product. So we are choosing the product. Where's the code? Block.settings.product. Let's go into liquid objects. All right, let's see. It's Some pretty funny pictures. All right, so let's see the product. We do have a title. Not sure why it's not appearing. Tags. No, it's not filters. Interesting. So let's see what happens if we just leave it as product. Settings. Oh wait, what was our... Yeah, let's see if we just leave it like that. I'm just interested to see what happens. Okay, so it seems like it automatically chooses the title. Okay, so I made a little bit of a boo-boo here. I kind of broke one of the rules that I mentioned earlier. Is that the product, what's it called? The type product for the schema returns a handle. So I don't know why I blanked out completely when I read the word handle. So what the handle actually is it returns the it returns kind of the end of the link that tells you what that product is. That's why when we let me just remove this part. That's why when we displayed just the block.settings, that product, it returned actually the handle of the product. That's why over here it's checkered dash red shirt dash, right? So it returns the handle. So in order to get around this, there's actually a way around this, and what we need to do is actually use our assign. Isn't that exciting? All right, so let's go over here and we're gonna assign product equals, and we got to use this thing called all products. And now what we can do is take this, or even cut it, stick it in here, and what this is gonna do is take that product, and then what all products does is it's kind of a way around using the product template in other places other than the product page, basically. So usually when you're using the product object, you can only use it on a product template. I hope I'm not being a little confusing here, but basically we have the product template, right? And we can only use the product object when it's being used on a product template. So for example, like over here, when we were over here, we were able to use, if we go over here, we were able to use the product object over here with the tag because we were on the product template. And we can see that we're on the product template because it's /product, okay? The reason it wasn't working here is because we weren't on the product template. We were actually just on some random page. So in order to actually use this, we need to use this all products object. And we can just read about it quickly right now. So all products basically searches all the products, and we're giving it the handle that we want to use for it. I don't know if it's actually even documented that well. But yeah, so it's a global object. The following objects can be used and accessed from any file in your theme and are defined as global objects. So all product object contains a list of all the products in your store, you can use all products to access products by their handles, right? So we are getting back the handle, and then we are accessing that product from all of the products. So it's a little bit of a workaround that we need to do when we do this. But nevertheless, it's still simple. And now we can go into and do product.title. And if we refresh this now, we should get the product title. Yep, perfect. All right, so let's go to the next one. Let's add the text. And which example text. Oops. Example paragraph. Perfect. So that works. We'll save that. But what's really cool is that we can add more blocks. So we can actually just create another one. Let's choose this. Boom, the title works now. We can choose any image we want. All right, so obviously this doesn't look perfect, but with this lecture, I really wanted to go over how you can make any page as dynamic as the home page. And just to kind of quickly recap what we did here is we created this for loop that goes over every block, and it checks what type of block it is. And if it's an image block, it creates one thing. If it's a text block, it creates another thing. And the schema gets pulled into each snippet from our section. So this is a very useful way to create dynamic pages for any page that's not the home page. And this is one of the last advanced topics that I really wanted to go over in this course, and it's one of the core topics if you really want to create a scalable website. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed it, and this concept can be used for a variety of things, and you can create a variety of different snippets for it, and you can take it to pretty much any page that you want. Thanks. I'll see you in the next lecture.